work in the community or just doing activities that you might want to know about, to come and say a few words about what their organization is all about so that the people that come to Ghost Town can become more aware of the great things that are happening here in Vancouver, Washington. So now I'm going to introduce Jamie from Magenta Theater. Yes.
Hi everybody. This is my very first time to come to anything like this, and so I shared it with everybody in my theatre company and said, who's coming with me? Nobody came. And I was afraid it was going to be a bunch of people dressed in black doing this. And I walk in and I'm going, oh my gosh, they've got blaze. And then a minute ago you were doing that, isn't you? I have stories to tell them later about the theatre. I'll tell them all, they have to come with me next time and wear black berets. And
or pink. You can wear a pink beret too.
I've got a maroon one, that was.
Yes.
Actually, it's magenta coloured. So Magenta Theatre is just up the street, across the street next to the climbing place. We've been in business for 14 years. How many of you have ever been to a Magenta Theatre production? Thank you.
All right.
I'm surprised, thank you. I hear it all the time. Oh, we didn't know there was a theatre in Vancouver. We do plays, we do improv, we do stage readings. We don't do poetry yet.
We'll work on it, yeah.
This is our current season. It is so out of date, but the delightful lady who actually does wear a black beret is so behind in updating these for me that I wish to publicly shame her. Her name is Michelle. This is the play that is in rehearsal right now. It's Parfumery. If you've ever seen the movie You've Got Mail, this play was written by the nephew of the man that wrote the original story that You've Got Mail and She Loves Me was all based on. So this is coming up in December. And I thank you so much, and I have to admit that if you hadn't been doing this in the Black Berets, I would have left very disappointed. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Tonight because I actually have a question for you. So say a person wanted to buy theater tickets for someone else, but they don't know when that person can go to a play. Do you have just a general gift certificate?
Yes, we do. Gift certificates.
Fantastic.
Dead simple.
Do I need to buy it online or how do I?
You buy it online,
Okay.
and then we will send you the instructions on how to redeem it. Dead simple.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
And she slipped away as quickly as she was here. That was Leah Jackson back there. I'll get her up here at some point so that we can all thank her for this.
So
and thanks to
Jamie's
Jamie for making that announcement.
So Jane's going to leave some brochures
Yes,
up
she's
here.
left some information here.
Okay.
If you don't know, there's a bunch of information on the jewelry counter, so if you didn't have time during the break, take a look before you leave here tonight.
Okay.
Information about upcoming readings and newsletters and things that are happening in the community.
Yay.
If any of you are involved in anything in the community and you want people to know about it, it doesn't have to be poetry related, just give me a heads up and we'll give you a minute to get up here and say what you need to say about what's happening. Okay, so Toni has the list. Would you like to introduce the next reader?
I wanted to ask you about Bridget.
Okay, yeah, this is a good time
This
for
is a
that.
good time.
But we're going to start with Poetry Moves, right?
Yes.
So one of the things that we're really proud of is that we managed to get poems on the buses here in Vancouver. We've had 2 phases so far. At the moment, if you hop on the C-Tram bus, you can see young poets from the Poets in the Schools program that I started. Every poet laureate has a project. That was my project. I wanted to get Poets in the Schools program going in Vancouver, and I have done that. That program also continues. So we had a phase of adults, we had 6 months of the kids, which are going to be up until the end of the year, and then phase 3 will be January to June of 2017. So we'd like to announce who those winners are, and then we have a special dedication. Do you want to say a little about it? If you want, you can tell them who.
Sure. Oh, okay. Yeah, we have it too. Okay. The C-Tran asks us to conduct the submission and choose from the submissions 10 poets. And also this year they've asked for poems from Todd Marshall, our Washington State Poet Laureate, and from Christopher Luna, who is your Poet Laureate for Clark County. So there will be 12 poems this year, which is really cool. So here are the winners. The poem is entitled Joy. It's by Cherish de Rochers de Fados. Did I say that right? I'm not sure how to say the name. I haven't met Cherish, but we will.
It's DeRocher. Do you remember?
DeRocher.
We used to have DeRocher.
De Rochers, yeah.
That did the art here. This is his daughter.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so this is cool. So we'll meet her soon. The next winner poem is entitled A Long Ago Memory of Calmer Times by our own Bruce Hall. The poem is entitled Subsequent Layers of Existence by Bill Lucking. The poem, this is an excerpt from the poem Why We Don't Belong Here by Lydia Montana. The poem is called Hope Embossed by Gwendolyn Morgan.
Eulogies are for the living by Angeline Nguyen, who is here. Calling by Jennifer Pratt-Walter, who has read here many times before. Camilla by Alex Vigu, and How to Love, excerpt from How to Love by Desiree Wright. And then the final winner is Bridget Nutting, who is a member of our community. She had made it to this event, but didn't make it to enough events because of some health issues that she had, but was a very active member, especially online and part of this community. And she passed away on October 9th. So we want to dedicate the reading this evening to Bridget. And her family has set up a GoFundMe page. It's under Bridget Ann Nutting, that's her full name. There will also be a celebration of her life this Saturday, so any of you who knew Bridget and would like to participate in that can get in touch with me. But I was going to just read the poem of Bridget's that's going to be on the buses. A couple of things happened. We chose the poem before Bridget passed away, but she didn't, we didn't announce it. So she doesn't know, although her family knows now. And the other thing that her husband told me is that a publisher got in touch with him, very recently. I mean, this all just happened, about wanting to put out a collection of her poems, which of course will be posthumous also. So here's the poem that will be on the buses starting in January. Just Breathe by Bridget Nutting. Breathe in deeply, exhale slowly. May the eternal spirit of all that was, all that is, and all that will ever be surround you and caress you with his healing touch, bringing you unending comfort and peace. So thank you, Bridget, and your The launch for that will be January 15th, but we'll have more information about that as the year goes on. So let's get back into the open mic, and the next reader will be Rainy Knight. Come on up, Rainy.
Okay, November 29th, Tuesday, 7 p.m., Barnes & Noble, be there, be square. I did write a poem about the recent events. I'm not even sure how I feel about it still. The title is November 9th, 2016, the day after. All kinds of choices swim around in my brain. I could decide to be depressed over this election, or I could galvanize my creativity and imagination and brainstorm what to do. Let's see. I could organize a group of like-minded souls and have a seance to bring in Che Guevara. He probably knows what to do. Start a movement to write an amendment to eradicate the Electoral College so this never happens again. Gather an army of poets and other artists to create a love happening. Write a damn good hate letter to Mr. Trump. threatening his wee package if he doesn't get it right. Actually, put pen to paper and make some sound suggestions about how to bring the American people together. Make an internet appeal for making the best of a bad situation. Suggest you jettison your dread. Give the guy a chance to unite us. If he fails, we can always chop him up in teeny-weeny pieces and feed him to Mr. Putin. A little poetic justice, if I do say so myself. Your turn.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, it looks like J-B-E-R-E. Is that close? Am I close?
Jaber.
Jaber? Jaber. Don't do.
And she's almost catching up with me in names.
Yes, that's true. Run for your money.
A lot of people have been a little bit afraid of the microphone eating them. You're supposed to eat the microphone, not let it eat your face. I have a couple of poems to share. Neither of them are titled. Neon shimmers cross silken sheets of rain, spiked boots clacking on the sidewalk, a vision in black, crimson lips smiling above upturned collar, long dark hair flowing from beneath your sequined cap. Turning, you transfix me with the greenest eyes I've ever seen. Embracing your darkness, I bask in your light. Every part of you I know, the pleasure, the pain, the joy, the sorrow, contentment and anger, and everything in between. Embracing your darkness, I bask in your light. Every part of you I love. And I want to share a little, I was going to read something longer, but I decided not to, but I want to share a little bit out of this book that I found, The Devil's Berger. I thought that it was all about something else, but it turns out a lot of it's about food. If you must ride with hunger as your horse, then trust in nature to provide the course. Suck marrow from discarded bones, dine on the sauces of thorn and gross, lick salt on stones. Horsemen, let your reins fall light, and ride the slow digestion of night. Mondesi, translated by the author of the book, which is Jim Crace, or Crazy, I'm not sure. Could be crazy. And one more thing, I know a lot of people are here in shock, disbelief, a little bit of mourning. Just remember, this too shall pass. A little like bad seafood, but it'll pass.
And I've introduced this next gentleman this way before, but I have to do, we have a lot of new faces here. Someone who, like Lori Lawrence, has been with us since the very beginning of this series, and we're happy that he's here. Jim Martin, come on up. Jim.
Yes. That did you.
Love Jim Martin.
Oh, I missed your laugh.
All right, kids. Calm down. I do have a lot of lap tables that need to be cleaned up out there. Words of wisdom about the event this week is just, for me, it's simply, we have to learn to sit down and talk with one another. We've lost that. I have two poems. The first one is a poem about my journey to science, and I'll probably kind of have some poems along the way about my journey through science. I started out as a person who is in the arts and humanities, determined to be in theater all my life. And I went snorkeling one day and that changed my course. Course correction. Have I assimilated myself from my culture? One piece here, another there. Followed the path, pieces laid out. Sailed to enlightenment and growth on a known and loved course through arts and humanities, visions of future and theater. Or have I traveled to who I am through the land of the beast, strange and terrifying, navigated a course unknown, untraveled, beyond my ken. Course barely perceptible, ever intrigued or terrified. Yet, occasional views of an interesting topography caught my mind, inspired me to attempt, navigate a strange and frightening course in a sea I had never wished to sail. I think I'm learning. This one is has a lot of titles. Probably it'll be Long Shadow. Copper dinner gong high on the mantle glows in evening sun low on the horizon. Leaf ghosts flicker on its face as world's particulars flutter against my consciousness. Remind me I am still of this life. Shroud my view of what lies beyond. Across the mantle at some distance, gong's own shadow wavers. Crawling chimney's brick face amidst vague, twinkling leaves, dancing the end of the day. My person, the gong's shadow, has separated from my body, left the bustle of life to begin my journey to understanding, to acceptance of the shadows that lie ahead. Thank you.
Okay, now please join me in welcoming Angela Winfield. Come on up, Angela. Give her a lot of love. Give her a lot of reaction.
My friends and family think that I really like the stage. This is the first time I've ever really been here.
Well, let's go see the microphone.
Microphone.
What? Am I doing it wrong? Is this better?
Yeah.
How you doing? So the second poem is going to help me with it. But during that time, my husband's going to stand with me because he is my rock, my granite pillar, and my hero. And in light of tomorrow, and in light of today, this poem's dedicated to him. Haha, gotcha. It's called The Backstage Heroes. Is this okay still? Is this good? Perfect. We shall never forget you, the men and women on the front lines, the families of those left behind. The backstage heroes not given the time of day, a moment of silence, a time we all pray. You afford a life of freedom in a world of rights, a knight in shining armor, a star among the stripes. But no good deed goes unpunished. It's too little, too late. The price they paid that day, we shall never forget. Those missing in action in the service of our vets. Even at our country's worst, you're at your best. Thank you for serving and protecting the rest of us. We all owe a debt meaningless in comparison to all that you've lost. Thank you for your sacrifices made daily for carrying our cross. At the cost of life and limb, you paid the price that we may live. To you we owe our lives, the freedom to choose, freedom to fight. And to the families left behind, to the men and women and babes that cry, you are not alone, your hero lives on, in our memories and in our songs. You afford a life of freedom in a world of rights, a knight in shining armor, a star among the stars. He wouldn't have come up if he had.
Yeah.
No, you're staying here. He's my pillar. This is Scott.
I don't know how I got roped into this.
We both smoke, so. Oh, well, shh. Yeah, right. This is not titled. I've been working on it for months. I thought that the other day would be my last chance to share this, but then Trump won. So I have to do it. And thank you for hearing me. I hope I don't offend you. I'm not fighting for Trump or Hillary, but for civil rights. Thank you, Christopher Luna and his wife, for providing this venue and helping me prepare for this, okay? I might cry. Maybe not. I'm actually the voice of the demon. He's the voice of the reason. I probably won't cry. Don't get confused. Look at these hands. I assure you, we'll make America great again. Remember when the savages ruled this promised land and the natives resisted civilization? We conquered anyway and built this great nation on the backs of the blacks. We'll do it again with our judicial system and the school-to-prison pipeline. I assure you we'll rewind back to the time when white lives mattered. United will fight, the other 99% scattered.
We've seen you before, this dichotomous war between black and white, wrong and the right, post Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, let freedom ring, but just for the whites.
We're raising the bar, but not the glass ceiling. Repealing Roe versus Wade will end this feminist movement, this masquerade. And when we're done, daughters will obey their fathers again. Our sons raised to be real men. Take charge of your home, take charge of your women, barefoot and pregnant, from back in the kitchen.
We've seen you before, the first and second wave, girls raised for man's pleasure, raised to behave. When the rights of women are denied and defined by the whims of men, twisted doctrines and falsified religion.
Citizens of privilege, take pride in your lineage. This war on the inferior is not finished. For those, we live in the land of opportunity for those willing to invest. A little elbow grease and a little sweat. Get me a translator and find me a linguist. Tell Punjab and Carlos the turban behind the counter when I'm in power will not be robbed of our blue-collar jobs. Aryan descendants hear the call, reinstate the law. Deny them gatherings, be on your guard, build a wall, put them back in the fields or global South factories.
We've seen you before, the fall of the USSR and the Berlin Wall, when the Star of David was a sin for those who refused to conform, to deny their religion, a mark of death pinned upon their breast. We've seen you before, a deportation force in detaining camps in the ovens of Auschwitz. We've seen you before, preaching of border control, except when, through orchestrated wars, families are torn. Feel for the treasures of the North, the pride of the well-born, the garments we adorn, made in China, South America, the maquiladoras. We've seen you before with dollar signs in your eyes, a Trojan horse in disguise, alliances conceived in blackmail and bribes, a kiss on the cheek seals the deal, and then on the wings of an eagle, mass genocide disguised with global eyes, and corporate welfare flies breed disease, poisoned water, and infertile land, justified by legalese of international treaties.
Listen, folks, it's word porn. Let it go. I'll carry your burdens. Just look at these hands, but not behind the curtain. For you're protected. That's classified information. Go back to your screens and preoccupations.
We've seen you before, a new face, the same soul, hell-bent on power and societal, controlled by fear, manifested in suicidal goals, lest we forget. Together we watched the towers fall. We've seen you before, storming the globe and across the seas, but before we were a nation in search of freedom, we were the immigrants, we were the thieves. We've seen you before, when against all odds the marginalized rise and unite as they fight for the same rights the privileged always had, equal to the heroes who defend our land. They've lived and died for our flag. We've been here before when agents of change admit the reins of oppression to which we own, and the lies we've told, the regrets our freedom oppressed, and the mistakes we refuse to learn from.
Oh, and it's our anniversary, 9 years.
Thank you so much to all three of you.
Hey, James! Woo!
Thank you for your service. I'm glad that you're here with us. You know. And next we're going to hear from a person who saved me from an almost certain death by the side of the road, and so he is the man I will always refer to as the poet of steel, Mike G.
Thanks for doing that, guys. More love. And let's not let the system of oppression ever crush our joy. Thank you. Good thing about dark times is there are always good times for poetry and for the possibility that the species will finally start thinking. I've been bearing witness to the spectacle. Well, my friends, the Illuminati Alien Committee for Presidential Selection chose Donnie as the best sociopath to nominally lead us into the New World Disorder. I'm also shocked, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says, but I'm only 10 and this is the world I'm cast in, so I'll continue to be a friend, a great poet, a great person, and let me tell you this, from the moment he said, "Crooked Hillary, you're fired," during her concessionary call, I resolved to graffiti my poetry all over his fucking wall. Poetry trumps politics, team. To make him seem less scary to my classmates who are also 10, I say think of him not as the commander-in-chief, but as the eccentric yet sometimes predatory Uncle Trumpy. Isn't that nice? Uncle Trumpy. At least it's an image they can relate to. Anyway, that's the best I can do. The mental health consultant called in mentally ill the day after the selection. Sometimes it takes a rupture in the space-time of our lives to see with clarity. In this sullen interregnum, rainbows are illusions to puke on. Wasn't my fault, colonies. I'm still with her, the sociopathic ghost of Margaret Thatcher says. Meanwhile, our relationship with Putin should greatly improve. And not a day goes by that I don't worry about the evil dolphins. It has begun. The great tribulation, she says. She Was a palsied old scarecrow, but I loved her beneath the whore's moon that never cared a poet's cock for truth. Probably a mean alien machine put in place to control human souls. Anyway, as my friend Bob postulated before he died of pancreatic cancer just 3 years ago, it's only love that keeps me here, though she's crooked as the courts, keeps my balls in an old-fashioned locket, sells the seed to church and government. As a child, I made a wish that one day I'd be intimate with English. I just sneezed and said, "Bless me." Meanwhile, the squirrel does not make a big deal about time and space, just eats her nuts with animal sanity and moves on. How oft my tongue has tickled the maidenhead of poetry, but has not pierced. Expelled from the womb's Eden into the mindless world, she keeps her larynx well liquored, her eyes blank as piss holes in the snow, and who can blame her, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. Some of us had the misfortune of being born poets. I'm all for flowers and weeds, having sex with bees. Whenever Brenda and me see Donnie or Hillary on TV, we try to make another little Mike G. It's exhausting. Overheard on 80 Suckett Avenue, I'm unfriending all the fucking poets I know because they are so fucking unaware of their inherent poet privilege. Privilege? Are you fucking kidding? You motherfuckers see with the eyes of angels and hear with the ears of heavenly empathy, and it's not fucking fair. I'm poor as a piece of shit, and society regards me as a pariah. I'm damned. Goodbye, privileged motherfucker. No, I need friends. Poet, you're fired. It's the small things, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. Look, at least the offensive artistic rendering of a Native American's face on the Cleveland Indians baseball cap flashes a pearly white smile. And fuck the Cubs, 1908 Ty Cobb says. I'll take your laughter and latest song over the existence of stars. There were many straws before the last, she said, before leaving forever. Before the election, I overheard this. Just give Billy his own White House room with balloons, Ouija boards, and horrors. Alas, we don't have that to worry about anymore. Meanwhile, the new facility watch robots are coming soon to our theaters, one of the coast-to-coast security dudes said. Meanwhile, my thoughts are loud and my memories are more real than what is happening now. The poet. Stop unfriending everyone who disliked the other sociopath, the poet commanded, and everyone laughed at him. Just give me an apple and a roadmap to Alaska. Brenda and I are bonding right this instant and thereby improving our relationship by watching a delightful movie about inbred cannibalistic hillbillies called Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines. Meanwhile, in the most tragic news, Toyota's making tiny companion robots because humans, the article says, in Japan are so lonely. It talks in a tiny squeaky voice and will turn its head when you speak to it. After looming a bit, I leaned in with my chin and rested it upon my coworker's shoulder, then said, please tell me another bedtime story about how life gets better as we get older. The embodied memory of literature crawled over the shards, largely unnoticed by the pornography apocalypse survivors, insomniac gamers, and families who thought poverty was a TV show. Coming soon, sex in the semicolon, a love story going extinct soon. Maybe I woke up in the cloning center and they gave me the script, I don't remember. Maybe they should have delayed the election another 6 months so we could have gotten to know the candidates better. Can't be trapped in a dark wonderland with you, praying to a heavenly whatever for rescue. Can't be trapped in a wet nowhere sidewalk without you, bored with the normal catatonia, unable to count to 2. My mother says, trust your guts, but you can't always trust your mother. So I hover the uncertain worlds I do not choose. Sometimes I have only the moon to talk to, then she goes away, preferring a tryst with some big dumb animal. I forgive her betrayal. Sources of light also have needs beyond me. For my final meal, just give me a hot dog and chips, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. Those fucking Portland foodies are so phony. What do I taste like, baby? Mouth, I say. All mouths taste like mouth, self-same, undifferentiated mouth taste, no distinction between yours and anyone else's mouth. Isn't that nice? No. Sometimes she brings a gloomy nihilism to the bedroom. Me too. I've always asked Santa for a dinosaur thesaurus, still waiting. Much of the oneness chose to return as low-level consciousness, like slugs who ooze into the itness and now of the next moment in peace, forsaking the complexities of higher mind and constant grief. Not me. It's only on land I can process the sea and what the years of patching holes in the boat means. The waves without mercy as we rage to keep safe. The stars and moon just gawkers at a torture. The pitiless sanity of the seagull's greed. Our prayers just desperate pleas to nothing we believe. The sun breaking in land, ho, just in time. Thanks.
So, this is kind of exciting, you know, because every time Mike G reads, I try to see Mike G through the eyes of the people that just came in tonight, not having any idea that such a person as Mike G existed. And it's so fun, so fun. So if you'd like to hear some more of that, Mike G will be one of our co-features for December. December 8th. Yeah. We're going to have Mike G, and we will also have Rob Petsuno, who's fantastic. He does monologues that are very, very cool, and we'll have the two of them as co-features in December. There's some flyers behind me if you want one.
He's also featured later this month, too.
Yes, next week.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Dan Raphael's Thursday.
Oh, Dan Raphael, where's that happening?
That's at the Backstory Books on 60th and Foster. 7
Backstory Books, 60th and Foster.
7 p.m. Thursday the 17th.
7 p.m. Thursday the 17th. All right. Okay, and now please say hello to Lynetta Johnston Meeker. Come on up.
Is that close?
Yeah.
A little more? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I have 3 poems tonight, and I had chosen them before before that happened, and I feel totally disconnected. At the time I chose them, they made sense to me, and they seemed like something that people would be interested in. And at this point, I feel like I don't even know how to say how I feel.
Write a poem about it.
Yeah, I'm working on one. Yeah, okay. In the meantime, this will just have to do, okay? The first one is called Chemo. And it's a very personal poem to me. It was written originally for a dear friend who died of lung cancer many years ago. I have rededicated it to my daughter's mother-in-law, who is currently struggling with metastasized breast cancer. It's unbalanced, and she doesn't have too long. And she recently, I think it's pertinent to this reading, to say she recently declined any further chemo or radiology or other torture. So chemo for Catherine and Marcia. They call it therapy, this gradual torture. But what kind of therapy makes you sicker than you were to start with? Therapy? Rest from exhaustion might help. Not waking already fatigued from the night. Relief from nausea. Not playing peekaboo now and then with seasick-like queasiness.
reprieve from anxiety, not knowing the fear that flits, evanescent, unbidden, at odd moments in the wee hours of unrest. That would be therapy. This one is more upbeat, I hope. It's called Open to Life. And red tulip, full blown, black stamens erect, rises from a golden centered star. Does this blossom cupped like a waiting hand long for the cast seed as I do? And finally, I always have a lot to say about being a poet or trying to be a poet. So here's one of those. It's called Literally Dysfunctional. You know. I would be a poet, just stating language into art. But often, I am barren. And sometimes, I miscarry. Lush images flirt at the edge of my awareness. Half-formed words seduce me to make love to them, then leave me entangled in their sense and sound, isolated and dissatisfied. My stillborn yearnings still aching to live.
Now Nancy Flynn has asked if she could read something special to you, so here's Nancy one more time.
I don't know if everyone knows Leonard Cohen died today. I don't know the circumstances. Kristin told me on a post-it before we got going tonight. And what I'm going to read, I was going to include in my reading, but I'm really nuts about doing the time you tell me I can have. And I also didn't want to be presumptuous, but now that I'm here and we're all grieving together, I want to read a poem. I guess the last few days